True. Well, and he's a late bloomer, and I don't know that I would go in by myself. I'd call Joe, and I'd be like, dude, are we going back to Jumanji today? Let's do this.
You ready to die?
Oh, yeah. Welcome to the What's Our Verdict podcast, where we fashion ourselves cinematic judge and jury. My name is JJ Crowder. I'm here with my co-hosts, Mattson Heiner.
Better red than dead.
Ian Anderson.
Some shit.
And today we have a very special guest host, Joe Gold.
Hey, guys.
Welcome, Joe. Thanks for joining us, man.
Happy to be here.
I thought you were doing finger guns when you did special guest, and I was like, or quotation marks, and I was like, that's not very nice to our special guest, JJ.
But Joe is special.
Oh, geez.
In so many ways.
Hey, he wasn't flicking them off, so.
No, I saved that for you two idiots. No. All
It's
right.
a Javier exclusive.
Whatever you do,
God.
schnozzle.
Yes. Douche nozzle. All right. So if you guys haven't already, please hit that follow or subscribe button. Tell a friend about us. It helps us grow the podcast. Also, we're coming up on your last chance to get in on our giveaway. We are giving away 4 $25 Amazon digital gift cards. You have 3 chances to enter. 1, visit our website, whatsourverdict.com. Subscribe to our mailing list, which will include in the future very soon exclusive content, updates, more contests maybe, or giveaways. We'll let you know. 2, send a message from our Contact Us page on the website. And then 3, follow us on Facebook or Instagram and tag 2 people in any of our Monday new episode posts. So you get up to 3 entries. Get doing it, because we will accept those entries up until the 12th of August, and then we'll announce the winners, 4 of them, during our episode on August 17th. So, fun times. All right, gents, this is our trial series. We're going to discuss the facts of a movie, pass judgment, and let you, the listener, know the verdict. So today we're reviewing Jumanji: The Next Level. It was released in December of 2019. It was written by Jake Kasdan and Jeff Pinkner, and directed by Jake Kasdan. It stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Karen Gillan, Awkwafina, Nick Jonas, Danny DeVito, and Danny Glover, like 6 other people, and I put the list together and was like, I'm not reading all those. That's a lot of damn people in this movie. In Jumanji: The Next Level, the gang is back, but the game has changed. As they return to rescue one of their own, the players will have to brave parts unknown, from arid deserts to snowy mountains, to escape the world's most dangerous game. Let's go spoiler-free. Joe, let's start with our special guest. Tell us about this movie, spoiler free, sir. Lead us off.
Pressure here. Okay. Spoiler free. This movie, everyone knows Jumanji. Everyone knows the classic Jumanji. Obviously, now they've put a new twist on it. This is the second new twist of Jumanji. I'm a huge video game person, so obviously this was my life. Or at least I wished it was. This is awesome. I mean, I love the twist of Jumanji. I love that they now, instead of being a board game, who no one really loves them anymore, you just play them to do the family thing. This, like video games, this is goals. Like, I wish this could have been real. I would love to go into Jumanji. I'd love to do what these guys did. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say without giving stuff away, because I got a lot of stuff to say about the movie. Obviously, we know how I feel about it so far.
I think it's a great synopsis. Sounds like you enjoyed it and you wish you were in it. So I'll jump in. I grew up on the classic, the original Jumanji. Robin Williams, rest in peace, man. I miss that guy. So funny, such a great movie. I was really skeptical about the first but continuation of the story. I really liked that they paid homage to the first one. I enjoyed it. This one, I was even more skeptical. I was like, how do you do this again? But they did pretty good. This is my first time watching this movie. I hadn't watched the second one until yesterday. So I watched it last night with Casey, and I watched it again today. Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. There were parts that I didn't love so much, but there were parts that I thought they did better than the first new version of Jumanji. So a lot of great things. I recommend going and watching. It was a lot of fun. Mattson.
If you're looking for a movie that accurately portrays old people and how they repeat things and have multiple questions and never really understand what's going on, especially when playing a game, it just made me think of my parents and how many times I had to explain the rules of said board game that we were playing. God forbid we were trying to play a video game. Hell no, Joe. Ain't trying to do that with my parents. It won't work. That's one thing I really loved about this movie. I really did, especially want to give a special call to Kevin Hart when he was playing Milo, but acting kind of as Danny Glover. I thought he did exceptionally for that role. On the same side of things, I didn't like The Rock's portrayal as much. At times it came off as just kind of annoying, which I get was the point, but it just didn't work and hit as well as Kevin Hart's character. Like, I just thought he nailed being an old, slow talker. It just made me laugh a ton. This movie as a sequel, I think, was successful enough with the laughs and the brand this movie's created, but the emotional ties that the first reboot gave us did not hit as well as it did in the second one. I thought it was a little lackluster there, and there was definitely some plot liberties they took to make this happen where it just doesn't make sense to me in why this next level would have gotten started. But all that being said, very funny movie, accurate portrayal of old people. Old people, if you listen to this, I will be old at some point too. Don't worry, I'll get there. And if you like the first one, you're going to like this one. I just think you're going to like it a little less.
Ian, bring us home on our spoiler free.
Yeah, you bet. I'm kind of opposite. I think if you like the first one, you might like this one a little more, because I was coming into this one wondering how they're just going to do the exact same thing. And the twist that they throw in there, like, it had me laughing. And I was kind of surprised to see the actors do something a little bit different. Like has already been mentioned, Kevin Hart acted a different character for like the first time in any movie that I've seen him in. He's always been the same character. This is like the first time that he did something different, and he did it really well. Yeah, everything else I think has already kind of been mentioned, so I won't rehash that. Glad that they didn't try. I think JJ kind of already might have touched on this, but I'm glad they didn't try and go back to the very first Jumanji and pull stuff out of that. They've created something new, and they're continuing with that, and I think that's a smart move.
Cool. Thanks, Ian. Thanks, everybody. All right, guys, you know the drill. If you've seen this movie, hang out with us. We're going to spoil this thing. If not, go watch it, come back, pick up where you left off. But let's go ahead and spoil the shit out of this thing. I'll start because Mattson and Ian both talked about the fact that Kevin Hart cracked me up. But I'll tell you who really got me. That's Jack Black. So when he comes in his fridge, like the whole time he was Fridge, I was in tears. I was laughing so hard. Every time he spoke as Fridge, I lost my shit because he hit some of these nuances of that nomenclature of the culture. And I was just dying. That character, the way I was like, this is great shit. And then they swap, and he was like, he's played every character except Spencer at this point. And he does it just perfectly. And I was kind of enamored with it, which I'm not usually a Jack Black fan. So the fact that I was laughing at Jack Black 90% of this movie was amazing. But I loved Kevin Hart as well. He caught Danny Glover's mannerisms so perfectly. Like, I was just giggling the whole time. What'd you guys think?
Jack Black plays such a good female because he's dang good at it, to the point because he's so good at it. I'm like, I would watch another movie with Jack Black, like almost a Freaky Friday style, where he has an out of body experience and turns into a female and has to figure out how to get back to being a male. I don't know. It'd be a pretty funny movie because that's basically what he's doing.
Oh yeah,
I'd watch it for sure.
No question about it.
I thought, I'm gonna butcher pronunciation.
Aquafina.
Aquafina.
Like the water.
She did. Oh, Aquafina.
Oh, yeah.
I thought she did an excellent job of doing Danny DeVito, better so than
Spencer.
Dwayne Johnson.
Oh yeah,
did.
much better than The Rock.
Spencer.
Yeah.
The Rock kind of. I will say this. So I watched it last night, and The Rock annoyed the shit out of me the whole time when he was Danny DeVito. But today, when I was watching it, it didn't bother me as much the second time. Like, I started to catch that it wasn't as bad as I thought, and I think it was probably just the shock value of how different he was sounding, the fact that he was acting. Because then I started going back, and I thought about, he was in a movie, and I've been trying to think of the name of it all day, and so I just gotta. But it was with John Travolta. He played Get Shorty, the second Get Shorty, Be Cool. So it was called Be Cool, and he played this bodyguard, this gay bodyguard bouncer guy, and he was perfect. And he had some of the same, but he didn't have the deep New York accent. But other than that, I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel it. The second time I enjoyed it a little bit more, but it bothered the shit out of me the first time.
It still bothered me.
Joe, you cringed. Did you like the joke? Did you like The Rock?
It sucked.
I'm sorry. I'm a child. When it comes to movies or anything, I mean, I hear a fart noise, I start giggling. It doesn't take much for me. And I mean, The Rock, and Kevin Hart, I mean, together, life doesn't get better than those two either. And
No.
I think the two of them, I get what you're saying with he didn't play it so great, but at the same time, you know, Danny DeVito and Danny Glover's friendship mimicked The Rock's friendship to me. I mean, I don't think anyone could have played the reverse roles any better than the two of them. I loved it. I thought they were hilarious. I wasn't even paying attention to anything that could have been so bad or sounded wrong just because I was laughing the whole time. I mean, I love these two guys, and honestly, they're pretty young, fit guys. And to be old, feeble, old guys here, and then just I'm grouching like old people do. It was incredible. It was perfect. I've heard it a million times, and going to play bingo with my grandma as a kid. I mean, it was perfect. I don't think they could have done it any better, and I didn't notice any issues with them chit chatting together and stuff. It was
See,
great.
the only area I just disagree is I liked how the Rocks had the portrayal of Danny DeVito. I just wish they wouldn't have done more so the voice and just left it more normal, and it would have hit for me. I get why they wanted to remind us that he was Danny DeVito, but at the same time, none of those other characters that were the younger versions, the teens, they didn't have any different voice changes in the actual characters that acted them. They just had different vocabulary and things like that. So if they just kept The Rock with the old people vocabulary, again, old people, we love you. If they had done that, I would have liked it even more because he still came off a little annoying, but it was more so just because of that. Otherwise, to Joe's point, I think it really worked. The banter between The Rock and Kevin Hart was awesome. And the height difference, I mean, again, you couldn't have done that any better. Super tall, it's super short. Perfect.
Yeah, because Danny Glover is a large man, and Danny DeVito is not.
Danny DeVito is like he definitely is the epitome of when you get old, you get small. He has done that. He has compressed his spine to the point of
Which
no
I don't know
return.
how, because he was short anyway.
Yeah, he was
So
pretty
he's
short to
never been a
begin with.
big guy, but yeah, he's tiny, but he cracks me. He's so big. And I think that's why I enjoyed like the second time that juxtaposition of the two, where you got this giant human of The Rock and he's playing this normally little guy that has to be so outgoing and so boisterous to get himself seen, which is Danny DeVito's thing. So I got a kick out of that. But his voice bothered me the first time I watched it, I won't lie, because he high pitched it, which I was like, I think it would have been even funnier to have him talk in lower voice. But I will say, when they first realized and they start realizing they can move, and Kevin Hart's like lifting his legs up. He's like, I got one of those, and I got that. Look at that, I got that too. And I'm just like, I can only imagine someone. Because shit, dude, I'm 40 years old and I wake up in the morning and go, somebody's like, oh, I hurt my neck. I heard it on a fucking pillow. It's not like it takes much for me to be sore. And I'm 40 years old. So I can't even imagine being, 60, 70, 80 plus and the pain and discomfort that can come from just your body starting to go. And then Brian, like, fully revived in like this perfect video game body. That shit, I would imagine that's exactly what you would do. Oh, look at this. I got one of these.
Are like butter.
Yeah, so good. So I really enjoyed that part.
Can I talk about something that bothered me about the plot? Because in the first new movie, when they all got sucked into the game, they were in the basement, right? That's where they were in the school. If I'm right, they were in the school.
In the basement in the school.
Yeah. So what makes it different that they're in the basement of a house and then this game suddenly starts to suck people in from different parts of the house? Why didn't it do that in the first? It annoyed me. I know it's a really
broken.
Yeah, it's because the game was broken. So when he put it back together, it was put back together wrong. Like it sparked, and that's why I didn't let them choose their avatars either.
All right. That makes a little sense to me, but I still think it's so stupid that Spencer's character is like, I'm gonna go find this game, I'm gonna make this game again, and I'm gonna go in there knowing did he ever have the thought that, hey, my friends are gonna have to come find me and get back in here, or is he stupid enough to realize I'm gonna do this all on my own? I'm not going to die. That's not a problem with the movie. I just think Spencer's a stupid person.
Maybe he assumed it was like most video games and you can play single player or multiplayer.
Well, from playing the first time, it didn't seem like a single player game because the last person was in there for 20 years.
Well, that's because he picked the wrong character.
And he was kind of a chicken shit. He lost a couple lives and got freaked out and wouldn't leave his little camp.
And Spencer's not a chicken shit?
If you paid attention, Joe Jonas, whatever, or Nick Jonas, he was beyond the chicken shit to the point where he said 20 years he learned how to go shopping in a video game. I mean, that's what he felt like doing, is going shopping. He wasn't going to go and play the game.
Spencer doesn't even know how to breathe. He has to use an inhaler.
But Spencer knows if he gets in the game, he's a badass rock.
Which is what he was trying to be.
He wanted the bravery. He had the struggles of the real world, and he made those friends in the game. His thought was, you know what? I'll never be as good as I was in that game. Let's go back there. Okay, escape the real world, go back there. And you know what? I can't tell you how many times we played Destiny, and I said, you know, I could do this better myself than with this team. Half the time I was right, half the time I was wrong. I still did it.
Oh, hell yeah.
JJ, you taking offense to that, being on that team?
No, because Joe's not wrong. Because I've been on the same. There's been times that I've almost like instant messaged Joe and be like, dude, do you want to just break off and you and I can go duo this thing? Because
there have been times that many have instant messaged me saying that. We're a family. We stuck together, bro.
Hell yeah. Well, no, there's been a couple times we've played it, like Joe and Snuff, and been like, hey, so we're just gonna wipe until this dude quits and then find somebody new. And it worked. I mean, we made it work, but we always have our core. And it's funny that Joe talks, and I really think it's great that we did this movie with Joe on here, because Joe, we play the amount of hours we have in Destiny and Overwatch and all this shit together. And it's true, like, I play video games to get away. And I was telling Casey this the other night. I was like, because she's like, I just don't understand the love of video games. I was like, it's because it takes me away from all the bullshit, right? Like all the shit that life throws at you. Life's hard. It's challenging. It's tough across the board most of the time. It's good. I love my life, but it's hard. There's challenging parts. But I'll tell you what, it's very rare. As salty as I can get, and Joe will tell you, I get pretty fucking salty sometimes. I still have more fun on a bad night of gaming than I do on a pretty decent day out without games. And it's true. Some of my best friends, like Joe and Snuff and John and Corey, even though he's a little funny, and then Barry, bunch of Barrys.
Oh, Barry.
Good. I hope he doesn't listen to the podcast. I love you, Barry. Yeah, so and there's a bunch of these guys that no matter how much, like even like Phantom, do you remember Phantom, Joe?
Phantom Menace, yeah.
This guy and I clashed all the time. But if he were to actually reach out to me, like, I would have a hard time saying, no, I'm not going to jump on and play with you. So I get where Spencer's coming from in that, look, this was where he got away. He had a great time. And yes, there's the chance of dying, which is a little stressful. But at the same time, he thought he was going back to be.
Okay.
Hey, look.
Hold up, JJ. You right now, you have the chance to go return to Last of Us 2. And you're going to just go back in and not be thinking about, hey, I might die. What's Casey going to think about that? What's my family going to think about venturing back into zombies? Because basically, Jumanji, not a whole lot different than that, because you get eat by rabid baboons. You can explode from an ostrich pecking you.
Giant snake out of a tree.
Yeah, but whatever it may be, that's not a little thing to worry about.
But here's the difference, though. The Last of Us, no, because there's not a Bravestone in The Last of Us. Dr. Bravestone, prior to this version, had no weaknesses other than the person who's playing him. Put me in a Bravestone, I'm pretty damn good at video games. Put me in Dr. Bravestone, I'm not that concerned. It's just a touch of stress.
I mean, honestly, Bravestone aside, who wouldn't want to go in a video game as The Rock? To legitimately, physically be The Rock?
I mean,
I test the limits of that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'd much rather like to be The Rock in like a WWE video game, knowing I'm just going to beat the crap out of people and not have the chance of like necessarily dying. But to your point, Joe, oh yeah, like bring it on, dude. I'll freaking inflate my muscles.
The problem is I'd go into that game and I'd end up in Jack Black's body and be like, fuck, it's just me. It's like there was no change.
The map guy.
Yeah, except I can read a map. That's it.
I thought you were gonna say you'd go in and you'd be Ruby Roundhouse and just start touching her boobs.
I'm on for that too.
I don't know anyone that wouldn't.
I have no shame. I'm in. Like yeah. Game on. Sold. I'd be like Bethany in the first one where she's obsessed with this penis. That's all she could think about for the first little while. Is this thing just gets in the way? You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely would be okay being Ruby
All right.
Roundhouse.
Well, to both of your points, like I can see that being a reason why you'd want to return, to feel stronger, to feel more like what you want to be. But I guess I'm also just injecting a little bit of realism, knowing how dangerous that game is. You'd think about it a little bit more before you just go into it. But he is a late teenage, early young adult. We all make stupid decisions, and that was probably one of them.
True. Well, and he's a late bloomer, and I don't know that I would go in by myself. I'd call Joe, and I'd be like, dude, are we going back to Jumanji today, bitches? Let's do this.
You ready to die?
Oh yeah. What a way to fucking die, though.
See, I didn't mind that so much and not to skip to the end because I feel like we do that every time. But the thing that got me was the horse sprouting wings at the end. Like I just felt like they wrote themselves into a corner and they're like, all right, he's up in the air. We have no way to get to him. How do we get out of this? I know the horse can have wings. He can fly. And that's how they like got out of it. So that was more of a problem for me than like Spencer going into the video game.
See, and it's funny that you say that, Ian, because we were watching it. Casey and I were watching it, and as soon as the horse came in, so when Bethany and Jonas's character came in, I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be a Pegasus." I was like, $100. This horse has wings by the end of this damn movie. Casey looked at me, she goes, "Duh," and I was like, "Fuck, okay, you got me." But yeah, I was even okay, and that's what I think I love about this movie is because it does feel like video games where, hey, you just leveled up. That's all it was. New characters, shit, yeah. Level that shit up. Well, and the funny part is he flies up there and he doesn't even save the rock. It's not like Dr. Bravestone needs his ass. He just got to get through the clouds. That's all.
Yeah.
I loved it.
If we're going to talk about the end for a second, the other massive plot thing they jump out. So if Danny Glover's character Milo makes the decision, hey, I'm going to stay in this video game, how do they explain when he doesn't come back and the last place that he was in Spencer's house eating breakfast to his family or whatever? I'm just like, he's gone. We could bury like a picture of him or whatever. Like, how does that work?
He's got nobody. That's what he was saying. Like
nobody.
Yeah, he talks about the fact that his wife's dead.
All right.
And he doesn't ever mention kids. So the assumption is there's nobody going to be like, where the hell's dad?
Sad. Well, I hope they got his money.
He's got Eddie. He had Eddie.
He had Eddie.
He just found Eddie again. And then they had to go apart. That was
like,
look,
man.
If I have a choice of being a Pegasus and dying of cancer, is that even a choice?
So here's my question though. If you had the choice of all the characters, would you still choose the Pegasus?
Probably.
Yeah.
Either that or the Rock. So, and here's the problem. If I'm one of the human characters, someone's coming after my ass at some point, right? If I'm the Pegasus, I'm just flying, bitches. See you later.
Like I get sick of flying all the time though.
Hell
and not ever having a
Wouldn't
conversation.
someone chase you? Wouldn't someone want to ride you?
That's true. Everybody would be after
Everyone
you.
would be
But
after
she
you,
said-
in my opinion, I'd come find you.
Jeez. That was a subtle, that's what she said, Mattson. I like that. No,
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, so fuck, I'll make some money. You got to do some shopping. I need some hay. I'll sell horse rides, flying horse rides.
JJ, I think you'd go mildly insane because you'd think in English, but you'd be going like, I don't know what that would do to you after 20 years. For our listeners, I want to know what you feel like FU sounds like in horse language. How would you tell?
Oh.
So, what would that sound like? Give it to us.
Why you put me on the spot here? I'm not good at that kind of sound effect.
I want to know what it sounds like.
I can't even. Fuck you. Something like that.
Well, that was still a little bit too English, but I'll give it to you. You got a little of the nays in there.
Yeah, it's not really fun if they don't know what I'm saying. So, you know what? So I will tell you this about the movie: is there was a point in the movie. I enjoyed it up to a point because of like Jack Black. Like I said, he stole the show for me for most of that movie. I did enjoy Kevin Hart, and it kind of disappointed. I felt a little disappointed when they went back to the other version. So I was glad The Rock wasn't talking as high pitched. That switch I liked because Awkwafina killed it as Danny DeVito, like Ian said. But I missed Jack Black. I didn't like Jack Black as Fridge or as Bethany again. Like it's okay. Like it was funny in the first one, but I loved him so much as Fridge that I was like, oh. So it was almost like this letdown that, oh, there goes that sense of humor that I miss because Kevin Hart's just Kevin Hart when he's Fridge to me. And so I was a little let down at that. That one I didn't like. I wish they'd have left. I understand why they had to switch them, but I would have enjoyed just a little longer with Jack Black as Fridge. Or if Fridge would have switched and said, you know what, I actually like being this guy, even though he hated him. Like I thought that was the only thing that was really rough on me through the movie because and it was really just the thing that he made me laugh so much. I was like, bummed.
All right, so we're talking about bad stuff.
Yeah, let's hear it.
This is
we're talking about whatever you want.
The only thing I didn't like, and I love the movie. I love it so much, so it's hard to say this. But I know it's a video game. I know it's whatever rules they make in the game and whatnot. But how do we go from, obviously, we have Kevin Hart's bag, which has all its goodies in it. Okay, so weapons like the nunchucks in the dining hall, whatever you call that thing. Okay, I get that. Okay, and a lot of fists flying everywhere, but then a bazooka out of nowhere. I mean, if they have guns, why doesn't the bad guy have guns? Why doesn't Roy McCann?
Oh yeah,
Jurgen,
okay.
Yeah. Why doesn't he have a gun? You know, I mean, as the bad guys, you'd think, you know, if the little bad guy in the village could have a gun, you'd think that maybe some others would. You'd think maybe this would turn into like a Call of Duty Modern Warfare kind of Jumanji. So I didn't like.
Are you saying you didn't like the end boss? Is what you're saying?
No, I would have loved if they never added the gun. That really threw me, even though it was such a little part and it was so funny, and I almost peed myself laughing. But they all just boom gone. But I mean, you know what? Go like in the Mulan times where they're shooting that dragon head that explodes. I mean, that would have been more realistic to me in the movie. I mean, I don't even know if there was a time error. And oh, you know what? No, I guess on top of that, the hot air balloon. It's like
fair enough. Yeah,
I don't know. They kind of just mixed some stuff up. That's
a great point.
It was a great movie, but it didn't feel like they should be in there.
That's a great point. And I mean, even if they had done something where, like, if you move to a certain location, like, because in some games you have levels where there are no guns, right? Or you have lands, and maybe it's like this pathway where they go to that village, and that village is more of like a smuggler's den village. And so that's why there's guns there. But then as soon as you go somewhere else, but they didn't give you that sort of break off. So that's a great point, Joe. I didn't even think about that there's just one random rocket launcher to kill the Rock.
And if you think about it, if you can make a blimp, I think you can make a gun. I don't know the logistics in that, but I think if you have the ability to build a whole blimp, I think someone could build a gun, especially if in the town over someone's got a bazooka.
That's fair.
Oh,
Because the first one they had guns, right? Like the first one
did.
They had guns.
He fought the guys.
Interesting. I never even thought just this random rock. Well, and the random rocket launcher that falls out of his bag and then blows up in front of him, and then they have one that shoots the rock. I didn't even think about that. There's no distinction between having a blimp and not having guns. They're all fighting fist to fist in the dining hall. Interesting take, Joe. I like that. Good insight.
It was a what do you call that in video games? Why am I forgetting not a glitch, but or is glitch the right word?
I mean, a glitch would work. Glitch in the Matrix.
Loot box.
Yeah, he can. That dude, Switchblade bought a loot box. He got some. He did some microtransactions.
Got a Gallahorn out of it.
That's right.
Pay to win.
Did some microtransactions and blew that fucker up. I like it. Oh hell.
I did love a lot of the one-liners, especially between Kevin Hart and The Rock when they're playing Milo and Eddie. Like they were just like has been said, you can picture an old person saying that. Or like I wrote a couple of them down, and one of them, did I just kill Eddie by talking too slow? Like he always said I would.
I have that same one written down.
And he's like, he studies the entire language on the way to the point.
Yeah.
Just like all these were super good one-liners. Or when like somebody dies and you hear that little ding, and he's like, oh, there's my life alert. Gotta take my pill. Like that one killed me.
Me and Ian have the same sense of humor because I literally have all three of those written on my list of one-liners.
Oh goodness. Yeah. Any others, JJ, that you'd pick out?
Yeah, so the Jack Black, he's like, shouldn't be a problem. When he's talking about his weaknesses, it's like heat, running,
Sun
or
and sand.
sand,
Endurance. Yeah.
and endurance. And he's like, shouldn't be a problem. We're only in the middle of a goddamn desert. Then he tries to do the burpee. That shit killed me. He gets stuck on the second one.
I do like when Fridge goes back to being Kevin Hart and he starts throwing stuff out of his bag. He's like, that's why I'm the backpack guy. I'm the backpack guy. Like, that's why I do this. And they're just like, yeah, okay, Fridge. Like, yeah, good job, buddy. Like, you can pull stuff out of a bag.
I laughed at Fridge, like Jack Black, when everyone got like the horse, still a better character. Like it was just my favorite one-liner though, it's kind of a three-liner all in one, but it's when when Danny Rock's looking in the glass and he's looking and he's like, this looks good. So I'm my old self again.
I haven't looked like this since.
Yeah.
Never.
Never
Looked like this.
Yep.
I think my eyes are a different color. All of you is a different color. Shit was great. I love too when he's hanging out, when they're driving away and he's hanging out and he's got him by the leg when the freaking ostrich is trying to pull him out. He's I saved you. I saved you. I saved you twice. I saved you while you were getting attacked by an ostrich and I was driving. Yeah, there was some great shit out of those two throughout the movie. I will say this though. I did get emotionally attached, and I think part of it's like Joe said, the connection between the actors allowed for the connection in real life to make sense to me, because both sets of actors played it very well. Danny DeVito, Danny Glover played really good in the few moments that they were in the beginning together. The Rock and Kevin Hart obviously play well together no matter what they're in. So they played together. So I will say that, I mean, I'm not going to say I freaking lost my shit and cried or anything, but I felt pretty emotional. I was like, this is really hard. This is a problem, because who knows? I mean, what's it been that they said 20 years or 10 years or something that they hadn't been friends? And now all of a sudden they found this friendship, but they're having to split up one way or another, because if Danny Glover comes back to the real world, he's going to die. If he stays in the game, they're not friends again. So I was touched. I thought that the story lent itself to that piece of emotion at the end. I didn't buy any of the other teenage characters. I didn't have any emotional attachment to like any of them other than Spencer, because I could relate to wanting to be in the video game because you could be superhuman and fun and all that was cool. But I did look at that and say, man, a friendship lost and found at the end could be tough. So I did get a little emotional about that part. I felt that one deep in my bones.
I just the emotional ending of the first one where they meet what's that character's actual name? It's the Jonas brother, but they meet whatever the actor character name.
Colin Hanks.
Yeah, when they meet him at the end of the first one, the emotional ties that I had to that movie at the end were much, much stronger for me in the first new one than the second one. So I guess I kept comparing it to that. So it wasn't on the same footing for me.
Mattson, comparison is the thief of joy.
Well, and for me, it's funny that we said comparison is a thief of joy, because I didn't love the first one, the ending of the first one, them meeting him as much, because to me it was predictable, because it was pretty much the same ending as the original Jumanji. So the kids go back and they meet, even though they didn't know him anymore because there was no overlap there and they weren't born yet when he came back. Yeah, the fact that here was Robin Williams' character meeting these kids, to me it was the same. It was just a replay of that, just a little different, which was cool. And I'm glad, like I said, I love the way that they paid homage subtly in the first one to the original Jumanji. This one, I liked that it was just something different. So I think that's why I was like, oh, it's a neat little tie-in that doesn't have anything to do with the original. So
yeah, is anyone going to mention boss battles, like video game boss battles?
Yes.
I mean, you're Dr. Bravestone. I could have seen myself doing this. Okay, you've just been kicking ass all day. All right, punching things left and right, flying across the world with a one punch. I mean, they're just going everywhere. And you walk up to the boss. I can't tell you how many times in Destiny I got this guy.
Yeah.
You walk right up to the boss, unload everything you got, nothing.
Fucking stomp mechanics your ass into a wall.
I died at that. I mean, that I've done a million times. I never would have imagined seeing that actually happen. And I mean, I guess the world knows everyone's done that. I mean, you just walk up and nothing to the boss, and then just get your face kicked into a wall. I mean, like, it was great.
Hell yeah.
I loved it.
And I'm glad that you bring up the boss too, because Roy McCann, I love him from Game of Thrones, and as the Hound, he was one of my favorite characters. And so it was really good to see him playing just this gnarly badass. But I enjoyed that too. He walks up and he thumps his ass. And he's like, "What the just happened? Why did he not go flying through a wall?"
I think the last thing I wanted to bring up, I don't know if anyone in this group has kids yet. I won't know of everyone that does. I don't know if Joe has kids, but when the Jonas Brother character, the guy that played him in real life, when Bethany goes to him and basically just says, "Hey, we need your help." And I get that he's indebted because he wouldn't have the life he has unless they helped him. But at the same time, man, like, what an emotionally weighty decision to say, yeah, we got to go help these people. But hey, family of kids and wife and everything, like, what do you walk to your wife and say, "I've got to go play a video game. I might not come back. Like, take care of the kids. Like, I love you. I'm probably coming back, but if I don't, I died in a video game." And your wife's like, "Why are you going?" You're like, "Well, they brought me out." And then, that's just not going to go over well. So they didn't even acknowledge really that thought process. But when that happened, to me, that was just a really big plot liberty, because I'm like, well, that's not an easy decision. Like, so I just thought that was interesting, because me putting myself in that shoes, like, I'm a loyal person, but at the same time, like, man, whew, I don't know how you make that decision.
I was surprised. That one actually surprised me that he came back. I thought it was just going to be Bethany in that body, in that avatar of Alex. I didn't expect, or of whatever his name is, but I didn't expect him to come back with her. So that one actually got me. I was like, oh shit, there's two of them.
I guess I just thought more about the weightiness, where I was like, if I was him, I would ask, well, how many people are already in it? And when someone would have told me, like, hey, the 5 of us are already there, I think I would have been like, well, like, I got kids. And then just slam the door.
Yeah, let's go ahead and rate this movie. Ian, you start for us.
Yeah. So for what the movie is, like being a comedy, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought the acting was done really well, especially having to play different roles like within the same movie. I think that can be very challenging, I would guess. I don't know. I'm not an actor. I have a hard enough time being myself. So I'm assuming it would be difficult. Anyways, I really enjoyed it. I think I'd give it 3.5. I'll give it a 3.5. I think that fits it well. I'll probably end up watching it again because it does have some rewatchability to it. It's got some fun laughs, and going and reliving with some of these characters is pretty entertaining, especially the Milo and Eddie. It just kills me. Like I was busting a gut. So yeah, good movie.
Mattson.
Yeah, I'm going to give this movie a 3. I think if it's a solid comedy movie, it definitely has rewatchability, especially if you're in a group of people and if you have that one friend or family member that is guaranteed to laugh, which sounds like a Joe or a JJ. I think any movie is increasingly more funny with someone like them. I have one of those people in my family. It's my little brother. If you have someone like that, this movie will go from a 3 to most likely a 5. But if you don't have that individual and it's just you and some kind of more boringish people, it's probably a 3. But that being said, it's a good sequel. It's not a sequel that falls flat on its face. It has a lot of the brand that they built in the first one, has some new clever jokes along the way. I just didn't resonate as much with some of the plot liberties in the ending of the story, and The Rock's character trying to act like Danny DeVito was annoying to the point that it does hinder my excitement to watch it again. But the jokes are there. The one-liners are definitely there. Go watch it. Give it a 3.
Joe.
All right, so clearly I love the movie. It's my first time voting with numbers, so not
I thought you were about to say counting with numbers.
I guess I'm gonna give it a 4. I feel like I want to go higher, but I gotta leave appropriate space for better movies. There are a couple.
Jurassic Park is still out there, man.
I can't wait to have some fun with that one. But definitely a 4. I absolutely love the movie. I love the concept. I love the original. And this just hit my generation so much better. I mean, it's Jumanji. It's everything that the original had. It was incredible. I loved it. It was funny. I'd laughing the whole way. There were little things that I brought up here that were wrong, but they didn't really bother me. I mean, I questioned them after because I should question them. I mean, it's give and take here, but it was totally worth it. I love it. It was hilarious. It was fun. I will watch it again. This is actually my 3rd time watching it, and I can't wait to watch it with company that may come over, my future children. I mean, it was hilarious. I can't wait for the next one because everybody better have watched it to the credits.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't think it could get much better. All right. But we're in for something huge, and I don't know how that's going to go. So definitely rewatching it, definitely a 4, and I loved it. It's hilarious. It's a good, funny family movie, and if you're disappointed in it, I'm disappointed in you.
Spoken well, sir.
I love it.
I agree with Joe. I enjoyed this movie, and I didn't think that I would twice now. Like I said, the one before it, I didn't think. And then coming into this one, I was like, how do you redo it? But I think they outdid themselves. I really enjoyed this movie. Had a lot of fun with it. Is it the perfect movie? Not even close. But it's good enough for me to thoroughly enjoy, rewatch. I give this movie a 4 on the comedy alone. If some of the just little things that bothered me would have been a 5 probably, but I think it's got tons of rewatchability. I'm excited to watch it again. I'm excited to finish watching it again and then watch it again. So looking forward to that. Really enjoy the movie. We want to take a moment. Thank Joe for joining us. We appreciate you coming and being on the podcast, Joe.
Thank you for letting me. I loved it.
We
love you guys. This was incredible.
We appreciate it, man. We'll have to have you on again, definitely, because I would love to watch you and Javier banter. So we'll get you guys going on. Maybe we'll bring you in for Jurassic Park. That'll be great.
Sure you want that?
I don't know. So, Mattson, why don't you tell them where they can find us?
Yeah. So before I do that, just to reiterate with our giveaway for those 4 digital Amazon gift cards, make sure you, 1, visit our website and subscribe to our exclusive email list for some fun content. I think there'll probably be a couple things on it from this show. 2nd, go to our contact page on our website, send us a message, give us a movie suggestion, tell us what you think. And 3rd, go to our social media on either Instagram or Facebook, tag some friends. So you have 3 different ways to get an entry. So 3 chances to be pulled up for those 4 $25 gift cards. But where can you find us? Obviously, what'sourverdict.com, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at What's Our Verdict. And then for our podcasts, where you already know what you can listen, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, and many others, or just go to our website and play it in your own browser. Come find us, come listen, come follow.
And for our next episode, we're going to be reviewing She Dies tomorrow, so check that out next week.
That's our verdict, and we'll catch you on the next one. I guess I'll just say it. Cinemagic out.